The Dana Fash moment from March that has not aged well at all. It's encapsulates the Dem Party line and how ridiculous it is.
15,000 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli airstrikes, 3/4 of whom are women and children.
And it's horrible, but you don't see Israeli soldiers raping
well, Dana, I think
women.
we're not...
You don't see Israeli soldiers raping Palestinian women. No, totally. You don't. You do. You just don't, Dana, because you don't want to fucking see that. You don't want to recognize it. Nothing she says ages well. I know, but it doesn't matter because, like, Dana Bash is a great example of this, like, this kind of, like, commitment, right? Dana Fash is a zealot. Like, she is straight up a zealot on this issue. She might have some progressive opinions on other issues, but when it comes to Israel, it's just, that's not a conversation that you're having with a person who is like, who has normal beliefs. Many Jewish chatters in here know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about because they have to deal with this on a daily basis from their fucking mothers and fathers. Okay? It's just like blind, unconditional loyalty to a fucking fault where it's just like, it doesn't matter. Shut the fuck up. You're wrong. Those guys are all rapist monsters. They're barbarians. They're bloodthirsty. You're wrong. And it's just like, it's weird because it's like, they don't see it. They don't see that this is like completely at odds with Jewish chatters that ended after age 3. You are literally fucking delusional if you think that there isn't a massive number of Jewish chatters in this community who are anti-Zionist. Jewish chatters are literally not just Jewish chatters, but like Jews in America are at the forefront of anti-Zionism, okay? Don't delude yourself. So fucking stupid. What a stupid take. There is far more ideological ultra-Zionist zealotry coming in this country from Christian evangelical Zionists. Okay, whether they're in key positions of power, whether they're in working in certain aspects of the media, or whether they're just like fucking diehard voters. Okay, there are far more Christian Zionists in this country than there are Jewish Zionists. There are far more Christians in this country than there are Jews. Okay, it is ridiculous. Anyway. She's more pro-Israel than former AIPAC spokesperson Wolf Blitzer. Yeah. What is this?
And as a Jewish
2 minutes of Dana Bash propaganda and being complicit in the genocide of Palestinians. Sorry, this ain't the person who should be interviewing the presidential candidates with genocide raging, free Palestine. I mean,
democracy and as a Jewish state supports and believes in every life matters.
I like this as Netanyahu, war criminal. It's true, he is. Why does AIPAC keep winning then? It's not because of the pro-Zionist movement. Wait, what? Why does AIPAC keep winning? AIPAC just announced that they have crossed over the $100 million ad spend boundary this election cycle. They've spent $100 million so far on this election cycle. What are we talking about? A couple things you guys have to understand is that, like, if that wasn't a successful strategy or if that wasn't a necessity, you think anybody would spend $100 million for fun? No, dude. They're doing it for a fucking reason. That's number one. Number two, if the same principle goes for the social conditioning necessary. It pairs very well with America's imperialist interests, but the social conditioning necessary for people to develop Zionist opinions and like take it for granted and not even question it ever. Like all of that is a multiple decade project and commitment. We understand it when the fucking Federalist Society engages in this sort of shit. But for some reason, when it comes down to it, when if it's like is any kind of like influence from a foreign nation like Israel, it's like, whoa. Hold on now. According to NYU, Zionist is now classified as hate speech. AIPAC also doesn't just message on Israel. They attack anti-Zionist candidates on all sorts of issues in order to unseat them. Exactly. They rarely ever fucking attack on the issue of Israel, because they also know most people, at least voters, don't give a fuck. Okay? Yeah, if you're a Democratic Party operative, or if you're a weapons contractor or whatever, yeah, they obviously have an ideological predisposition to be in support of Israel. But in terms of fucking the average Joe, they don't give a shit. The average Joe is probably more likely to be straight up anti-Semitic and anti-Israel than fucking than pro-Israel to the same degree. That's why I always say there is this massive division. Like, there is this massive attitude difference between those in positions of power, okay, in terms of their analysis of like their support for Israel versus the broader electorate. Okay? Isn't it ironic how Zionism is anti-Semitic? I mean, yeah. I don't think it's that ironic. Yeah, it's a nationalistic, it's a hyper nationalist fascist ideology. Anyway, I got banned from the Israel subreddit for saying that Israel isn't Jews in response to a thread claiming Israel isn't an ethno-state. If you want a depressing POV from a strict political strategist, raw impact thought, her going anti-Israel is not something Trump can do, so it's only a rope she can pull, and it will be massive media cycle, multi-interviews, big impact, etc. It will be a big break from Biden moment. Biggest impact time, October 8th to 15th. I hope she doesn't listen to those advisors to wait. Yeah. I mean, 100%. But I don't think she's going to do that because she's not doing that at the DNC at all. And I think October 8 is like far too late to do it, because then it heats up the anti-Semitism allegations. Like, why did she wait this long? Oh, she's doing this in the 1 year anniversary of October 7th. I think she should be cutting and switching off as quickly as possible, which she has done, for the record. She has done. She's already done that on like the economy, for example, on certain aspects. She takes ownership over Biden administration's failures in terms of like the inflation, in terms of grocery prices, and has been able to so successfully communicate that you would not think that she was the VP at all. Meanwhile, while we're having this conversation, the World Food Program says it's pausing its activities in the Gaza Strip after one of its teams came under fire last night near an Israeli checkpoint. Okay, Manny Fabian, please use something that's not passive voice for once when describing Israeli atrocities. Please, I beg of you. You are like physically incapable of typing those words out. It's so it comes across as though you are like genuinely allergic, okay? Like, how could this have happened? Passive voice at all times, dude. Bullets traveled through the air and struck this car. According to World Food Program, the team was returning from a mission to the Kerem Shalom crossing with 2 armored vehicles after escorting a convoy of humanitarian aid trucks to central Gaza. The organization says the team came under fire a few meters from an IDF checkpoint at the Wadi Gaza bridge. Despite being clearly marked and receiving multiple clearances by Israeli authorities to approach, the vehicle was directly struck by gunfire as it was moving towards an IDF checkpoint. The vehicle sustained 10 bullets, including 5 on the driver's side, 2 on the passenger side, and 3 on the other parts of the vehicle. The World Food Program says there were no injuries. The IDF has not yet commented on the incident. This just happened. They were Hamas. This time is real. Yeah. They will say that, by the way. They'll say it's Hamas that did it near the Israeli checkpoint. Huh. But that's not all. Here, let's watch Dana Fash.
And And so
אנחנו
I'm glad to hear that you
מטילים
say that you're going to do what you
מצור
can to
מוחלט
get
על
those
העיר
aid
עזה.
trucks in, and obviously we'll be
אין
watching,
חשמל,
and I'm sure a
אין
lot
מזון,
of organizations
אין
are
מים,
happy to hear
אין
what you
דלק.
said.
אנחנו נלחמים
Thank you so
בחיות
much,
אדם,
Prime Minister. Appreciate it.
ואנחנו
This
נוהגים...
war is extremely complicated. What is not complicated is that there is violent rage that is going on against Jews that we have not seen, maybe even ever, in America.
Yeah, no, totally. This is the most. There's so much violent rage against Jews. You know what's crazy? And I've been saying this. I've been warning about this for months now. America is at the precipice of being significantly more anti-Semitic than it ever has been in throughout its history, okay? And it is entirely a consequence of Israel's cynical weaponization of anti-Semitism as a deflectionary mechanism, as a shield, and Israel tying all of its actions to Judaism falsely, because of course it has nothing to do with fucking Judaism at all. It is especially at odds with Judaism. Okay. And not only that, but you got hyper right-wing fucking websites blowing the fuck up. You got, obviously, Twitter has now turned into 4chan. So much fucking unimaginable anti-Semitism and so much opportunity to literally look at everything that's going on in media and being like, see, I told you Jews control the media. Okay. See, why are they so afraid? Why are politicians so afraid to say anything about Israel? This is literally the greatest opportunity for fascists, like the greatest opportunity for fascists. And they're taking advantage of it, by the way. Fascists have always sheltered their anti-Semitism under the guise of like valid criticisms of the state of Israel. This is not like a new tactic. It's an old tactic. It's a 76-year-old tactic for the most part. Okay. This is devastating. It is, however, an attitude that is allowed to fester because it benefits Israel as well. It benefits Benjamin Netanyahu. That's why Benjamin Netanyahu has time and time again aligned with Zionists who happen to be incredibly anti-Semitic, like Viktor Orban, for example. Israel is ISIS for the Jewish people. Yeah, I mean, Israel's actions are identical to ISIS, including, but not limited to, destroying a mosque that was hundreds and hundreds of years older than the fucking nation state of Israel. Okay? Yeah, destroying a world cultural heritage site. Straight up, ISIS shit.
America. I'm Dana Bash. We start with destruction, violence, and hate on college campuses across the country.
I'm closer to my Judaism.
Fascism is anti-Semitic, though? Yeah, it is. That's why Zionism, which is fascist, is anti-Semitic. Zionism desperately tries to pair up Judaism with the actions of an apartheid state, okay? If you cannot comprehend how this is going to be a genuine problem down the line for the safety of Jews in the Western world and all around the world, as a matter of fact, including in Israel, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Okay? It is ridiculous. It is a ridiculous notion. Like, there is no world where like Saudi Arabia is doing a genocide in Yemen and then you go, hey man, can you stop genociding Yemen? And people are like, wow, you're being quite Islamophobic, actually. You know what I mean? It's the inverse of that with ISIS. American right-wingers desperately, and even some liberals, desperately tried to tie ISIS to the entirety of Islam, to the Ummah, to the fucking whole Islamic world. When ironically, ain't nobody fucking likes that shit over there, and ain't nobody likes that shit over here either. Meanwhile, You have Israel and defenders of Israel on the West being like, no, 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 Israel's ISIS-style actions are actually for Judaism. And if you fucking call it out, you are actually a Jew hater. It's crazy. It's crazy. Excuse me, the CIA actually likes it a lot. I think the CIA is one institution that is of two different minds on Israel. If you were to look at the entirety of the State Department, I would say that the CIA is probably one of the only American State Department apparatuses that actually despises Israel for the unimaginable amount of fucking blackmail and unimaginable amount of espionage that Israel engages on U.S. soil. There are different splinters within even the CIA, but it's, in terms of like uncommitted support to Zionism, I would say the CIA is probably one institution where there are more people than the rest that absolutely despises Israel. Of course, this doesn't mean the entirety of the CIA. They still use Pegasus, for example. So it's not like the CIA completely hates it.